Hey, what's up you guys? My name is Kira Snow and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be going over episodes 5 and 6 of RuPaul's Drag Race All Stars Season 8. So if you're interested in that, then keep watching. So, right now we're going to get into reviewing the highs and lows of the main challenge and the runway of episode 5. So the first half of this video is going to be me reviewing episode 5, and then the second half will be episode 6, and there'll be a break in the middle so that there's no spoilers. So let's get into it. So for episode 5, we are doing the Snatch Game of Love. Particularly for me, I guess, I'm okay with Snatch Game of Love. I kind of like general Snatch Game more because there's, less distractions. But Snatch Game of Love is okay, too. For the first group, they have Matt Rogers. And the first group has James Mansfield, Heidi, Kahana, and Jessica Wilde. So in this first group, I think James Mansfield definitely did the best as Jennifer Coolidge. She was nailing the lines. And she was just so kooky with her comeback. She was able to volley really well. She had so many great jokes. So I think James was a real standout. Heidi was confusing because I feel like, she was really funny, but I don't know if she was really doing Blackbeard the pirate. She was, but it was if Heidi was a pirate. That's just her character, what it was. But, she still made me laugh, so I guess she did okay. Kahana was very rough as Coco. I think it's because it was very, one note. It could have been funny. It had all the makings to be funny, but it just, wasn't. Because she was very just, one line, one note the whole time. Not giving us diversity of jokes. So that's where it really fell flat. And Jessica Wilde as Iris Chacon, she had good moments where I did laugh, but the problem was her catchphrase was only one thing, and she kept saying it over and over again. And it's if you want to be a believable character, you should have at least 2 or 3 catchphrases that you kind of alternate between or come up with new material. And it was just getting a little stale. So that was the case for that. And for group 2, it was with Bowen Yang, and this one was pretty entertaining as well. I think it was probably because Jimbo was in this team. And we had Lala Ree as Suki. And Lala Ree was pretty funny. And I think she actually was embodying her character decently well. I don't know who Suki is, but it did seem believable to me. Candy as Renee Graziano was pretty funny too, but I think Candy could have loosened it up a lot. She was playing her character almost too believably, and it's this is RuPaul's Drag Race. You can brighten up your character a little bit. You don't have to be so intense on it. You could, I don't know, just have a little bit more, be a little bit softer so that you can actually interact with other characters and have it not be so aggressive. So but all in all, I think Candy still did really good. And Jimbo was literally insane. When she started tap dancing, I kind of lost it. I was just laughing so hard. But I think one of the judges said Jimbo is one of the best physical comedians Drag Race has ever had. And I actually do believe that wholeheartedly. I think Jimbo brings uniqueness and unique bits to Drag Race that have never been done before. So I think that's really amazing. Another one from this group who did really well was Alexis as Beatrice Arthur. I don't even know who Beatrice Arthur is, but I know that Alexis did really well at it. And I think It's hard to do like sometimes the more classic and older characters well, but I think she embodied her perfectly. And all of her responses, I don't know, I think Jimbo said like she was clam chowder. And then Alexis was just like, I'm the best clam in town. It was just like random stuff that always like seemed to like suit the character like so well. So I feel like she was like really clever with her responses as well. And then next we see some tea from the episode. Some intense tea has transpired on this episode here today. And the tea was Kahana was upset with Heidi because some of Heidi's jokes during the Snatch game kind of were pointing out that, or highlighting that Kahana's jokes weren't landing. And to me, I think the first time Heidi did it, it wasn't so bad, and that it did like help make things less awkward. So it gave Kahana like time to like volley and actually be a little more funny and loosen up. Whereas, but the second time that Heidi like mentioned it, I feel like it was giving the energy of a little bit like too much referencing that Kahana's bombing. So I could see it like both ways. But I think Heidi did handle it well because she was like, I didn't know like that's how Kahana was feeling. And then she did apologize for how she acted. But then, unfortunately, Candy uses this opportunity to come in and at a very non-convenient time. Convenient for Candy, but not convenient for Heidi. Is the timing is not convenient for Heidi at all because Heidi just finished like going through some unexpected tea with Kahana. Now Candy comes barreling in saying that Heidi had told Jimbo that Candy was gonna potentially eliminate her if she lands in the bottom. And then apparently Heidi heard this rumor from Alexis, and then Heidi is like, Alexis, please tell me what you said. And then Alexis starts to say what she heard, but then as soon as Candy speaks up, Alexis was like, oh, I didn't hear that. So I kind of feel like probably what happened is that maybe Alexis just heard that Candy says Jimbo is fierce competition or something. But the problem is Alexis never says what she actually heard. And it's like, if she just said that, then like everything could be cleared. But Alexis doesn't do that. And so then now it just kind of seems like it's Candy's word against Heidi's, and Jimbo doesn't know what's going on either. And so this is kind of just like a little bit toxic. But honestly, I feel like there could have been more of a way to clear the air. Like they could have just talked it out like more. But I think Heidi like was already kind of like stressed out like from the competition otherwise, because it is a pressure cooker, as they say. So I think like this last tea was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back. And Heidi was like, I just can't anymore. Probably because she was too overwhelmed at this point. And then unfortunately we see she goes backstage and she also exits the workroom first, saying like she can't do this anymore. And that she doesn't like the energy. She says she doesn't like what, quote, she doesn't like what this has become. And then she says, I need my peace and joy and I've lost it here. She said she has had fun. She's shown her growth. And so that's what she came here to do. And I mean, I'm really sad to see her go. We see in the backstage, Candy goes back there. Alexis is back there. Lala Ree is back there in the backstage. From the clips that we see, Candy is talking to Heidi and like trying to a little bit convince her to stay, but not fully clearing the drama. And then back in the workroom, Alexis cries, as she should, because she kind of like potentially could have helped clear this out. But at the same time, I noticed Queens, it seems like specifically Alexis didn't really want to get too wrapped up into this drama. But unfortunately, she's the source of the drama. So it's like, you started it, you should finish it. And Alexis just doesn't. Like she said, she in her confessional, she wants to stay as far away from it as possible. But it's like, you caused this, so you should fix it. That's how I feel about it. So I kind of feel like Heidi was probably innocent in this encounter. And it kind of feels like, the stress just overwhelmed her and she decided to leave. And it doesn't sit well with me because I feel like she shouldn't have gone home. I think it shouldn't have affected her in this way to the point where she would have to leave. But we see that she leaves, and I respect her decision. And I think like people's mental health is really important. And if that's what she needs to do, then that's what she needs to do. I hope she comes back on another season of All Stars, which hopefully a more peaceful one, because I do think that this batch of queens, I think I was interested in watching this season because I knew that their personalities were going to be kind of interesting together. Like, it seemed like these are not a conventional bunch of people that would like meet out in the real world. And that they would have like there's a lot of big personalities like Candy, Heidi, Alexis, Jimbo's a big personality. But interestingly, we see Jimbo is like one of the more peaceful ones. I feel like Jessica's pretty like a big personality, so that's what made it kind of exciting to watch. And anyways, we get back to the real episode, so that's all the tea nipped up for now. Runway category is Reveal Yourself. And for the runway, some of the standouts for me was Jimbo's Adam and Eve look. It was really amazing. James's was like surprising. At least the very last reveal that was just to like the bralette was like, I was actually surprised by that. I do wish her first reveal like was less obvious. That she was just kind of like she was holding like a Cookie Monster thing. Like we could obviously tell that was a reveal. So it was a little too predictable, but I liked the last reveal of hers. I really didn't like Candy's because the theme like wasn't really there. There wasn't a cohesive theme between all the looks. It was like a red dress and then like a foil bodysuit thing, so I wasn't into that. And Alexis wore the same type of dress she always wears on every single runway, a gown. I'm tired of seeing Alexis in gowns. It's a no for me on that. It's a wrap on the gowns for her. We need to see her in something else. God, please give us something else. We see Jessica and Kahana are in the bottom. And then Jimbo versus Jasmine is the lip sync. Jasmine kills it. I have it written in all caps, kills it. Jasmine, her stunts are just so flawless and smooth, and it was just really impressive. I think Jimbo didn't do horrible in this, but she did like trip a little in the beginning. But I did like her wig reveal. And then we see at the end, no one ends up going home probably because Heidi eliminated herself. So it is kind of nice that all the queens get to stay, but we do have this kind of afterthought, like, oh shit, Heidi went home. So it's not as much of a peaceful moment as you would kind of expect it to be. Okay, break. Now we are on to episode 6. Trying to remember my Spanish. I'm trying to remember my Spanish, and Jessica Wilde is trying to remember her English. So, yeah, the Latinas are here. But anywho, let's get into episode 6 now. So Jimbo, we see, does cry about how she was kind of choking in the lip sync. By this time, she's done like so many lip syncs and she's kind of lost every single one. So she's crying about the fact that she kind of messed up. And I am wondering, because Jimbo says she fell on her face, but in the actual episode, we see she just kind of like wobbles a little bit, like loses her balance. So I wonder if the show like edited out her actual fall. So yeah, I do feel for Jimbo because it kind of does seem like she's literally killing at everything except for the lip syncs. So it's a little bit weird, but I think the lip sync I saw last, she wasn't really all that bad. I mean, she seemed to do like mostly okay. Like I think she's getting better with each lip sync. But then we see Adam Shankman is helping them choreograph their main challenge for the week, which is the Rusical for Joan Crawford. And I don't really know Joan Crawford that well. I only know her because of Drag Race and when she talks about when Alyssa Edwards did her and she was screaming about wire hangers. That's the only like way I know her. But we see like during when the queens are practicing the choreography, Candy is really struggling. She just looks straight at the camera and was like, girl, help me. And I thought that was really hilarious. But whereas we see oppositely or conversely, Jessica is really killing the choreo. She's doing an amazing job, even with like the role she didn't want. So I am so happy for my girl Jessica. I really want Jessica to win. I kind of have this weird thought that I feel like in a perfect world for me, I would want Jimbo and Jessica to like tie for the win for this season. Like they could be another twinner because I mean they're both so talented and I just want them both to win. So that's like what I hope happens. It probably won't though. All right, so in the actual Rusical, literally everyone does pretty good. The only one who I wasn't super impressed with was actually Jimbo. I kind of felt like just in comparison, like I think Jimbo did a decent job, but I think in comparison everyone else kind of did like a little bit better besides Kahana. Like Kahana like looked great and I think Kahana did decent. She just like doesn't have that musical theater like energy to her. She seems more like a dancer, smiley dancer, which is not so much like what a musical calls for. But she did nail her like dancing, and she looked great. So that's like half of what, or like that's like probably 80% of what you need to do. So I would give her like a B+. And then Jimbo's kind of the opposite, where she has all the kooky faces and stuff, but not the dancing ability. So it's like they have what each other is missing. But I think Candy did a great job in the Rusical. Her wire hanger part, like she really pulled through. Like she's a hard worker, I'll give her that. And like it was just amazing when she did her wire hanger part. That was kind of, it stole the show a little bit. And then Jessica did a really good, really good in her like rock and roll part. And the moment where she says like the axe, her Spanish accent makes her say instead of axe, it sounds like ass or something. So that's like an amazing moment. She tries to say axe like 3 times and like she keeps saying ass and it's just hilarious. So Alexis actually did really good in the Joan Crawford Rusical. She was killing it. And then now we're gonna go to the Grace Jones runway. The runway, we have Kahana in her rose gown. It actually looks really amazing. It looks gorgeous. It is kind of Vegas-y, but this time I don't mind it because it seemed really original. Candy's look was pretty cool. It was like a geometric one, but she put her own candy spin on it, so I actually did like that. Jessica looks absolutely drop dead gorgeous, and I think it's so hilarious. When the judges critique her, she's like, I put holes in the dress because I like holes. So I think it's funny how Jessica always manages to make whatever she's doing like slutty. is her brand. I've never had known someone to make their brand as slutty as Jessica does, and it just, and she says it in this like very like, I don't know, she's just a vibe. She's just a vibe, and it's, I'm here for it. I'm living for it. Anyways, I also liked Alexis's look. Her shade, whatever hat thing was pretty cool. I really liked it. And then this week we see Candy is in the top. It does make sense for Candy to be in the top. In the bottom we have Kahana and James. I feel like the bottom kind of should have been maybe like Jimbo and Kahana, but I feel like the reason they didn't do that is because they want Jimbo to win this season, and they don't want to risk having the other queens send her home. So, because I don't think James actually did that bad in the Rusical. She did pretty good. And then James's Grace Jones. Oh, her Grace Jones look was kind of bad. But Jimbo's Grace Jones look wasn't like super amazing. I mean, it was a dress and it's probably done well, so I guess it makes sense. I could have seen either of those like three, like Jimbo, Kahana, or James, like kind of in the bottom for this one. I could have seen any of them. I just didn't feel like it was James's time to go since she did pretty well in the Rusical. We see Angeria, Paris, Van Michaels, Dupree, Dubois, Spearmint, Mentos, Kit Kat, Altoid, Hot Cheeto is her name. Her name is so long. Probably, I'm gonna get in trouble for saying all those brand names. But anyways, she is the lip sync assassin, and she goes against Candy. Candy does a really good job where Jimbo is like flailing at these lip syncs. Candy is taking the opportunity to like slay the lip sync. So Candy wins, and rightfully so. I feel like she did an amazing job. Angeria put up a good fight, but Candy just like totally nailed it. And she chose James to go home. And James takes it like, well, she's like, oh, it's okay, it's okay. James is like so nice. I feel like she shouldn't be so nice. Like, she's just very sweet, and like she says her little like one line and she leaves. And I kind of feel like it wasn't her time to go. Like, Kahana has been in the bottom so many times and not been eliminated, whereas I think this is James's first time in the bottom. So it doesn't like seem fair to me. But when the queens are voting for other queens to go home, there is like no real fairness in it. It's just like, who's your bestie and who has a decent track record. And on this season of All Stars, the queens didn't like collectively decide to vote any which way. So it is kind of the Wild West when it comes to eliminations. And I guess that's kind of the way the cookie crumbled, unfortunately. I'm gonna miss James, but I am really happy that she got the opportunity on this season to show more of what she can do, because her last season she barely showed anything. She was out after probably 2 or 3 episodes and we didn't get to see anything, but like now it's like so much better. Like, we know how fierce she is. And at the end of the episode, we see more tea unfolding, like more drama between, it looks like, Alexis and Candy. And we see, I get the clip, like Mama Rue is apparently like coming into the workroom to try to straighten some stuff out, because I think another queen is trying to like leave Drag Race. I think, you know, the queens are being a little bit too emotional this season. So I am really excited for next episode, because it sounds like there's going to be more tea. And I really don't understand it. I feel like these girls are getting too emotional and they need to take a chill pill. But we're here. That's what we live for. So anyways, if you like this video, leave a like. Please comment who you think is going to be the winner this season. And also remember to follow me on Instagram and TikTok. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!